as far as setting up systems, there are two things here. One is understanding what can be protected, and then the other thing is setting up not really an enforcement, but really a policing regime. It's no use having a registered trademark or a registered design if you allow other people just to abuse it. Effectively, actually, with trademarks, you will actually lose rights in that name and may lose it altogether. And there are various examples of that: Fax, Escalator, all those brands that have become generic. Hoover, for example. What steps can be done? It ranges. Big companies, obviously with big budgets, they employ attorneys to look, or people within their organization to be very vigilant about protecting and alerting them to, and there are various forms and processes at what happens and what types of elevation levels happen in order to stop that. For example, it might be done initially just by a phone call to the other side, say please don't do this, and persuade them, and they may not know that they're infringing a right, to the other end of the scale where there's a flagrant infringement and someone deliberately copying, and then obviously there's court action. But in between, in terms of setting up a kind of cost-effective way of doing it, one is to ensure that your staff know about IP and what to look for, and to inform you, setting up just basic systems within your company so to be vigilant, having an attorney on record who you can phone, and perhaps most attorneys in this area won't charge you for an initial call or a consultation just to establish if you can or cannot take action. And then, as far as brands are concerned, you can use the internet as well. You can set up a Google alert, for example, on your trademark. A lot of companies have media watches, and that alerts not only to reputation, it's important in showing rights in your name, but also in terms of informing you who else is using your name. And making sure that they use it in a correct way, or your IP rights in a big way. I think it's all about respect. It's understanding that IP is not there to it's not just a tool for big brand owners or big companies. It actually can protect the little guy, and very often small and medium-sized enterprises stand to gain the most out of an awareness of IP and making sure that the IP is protected correctly.
Great, thank you very much. Final thoughts?
My final thought just on IP in general, I think there's a perception in Africa, and it comes out of ignorance, and it also comes out of, in some places, abuse, that it's really tools for big companies, tools for them, for the West, to protect their international competitive positions. And I'd like to just stress that really it's designed for everyone, and it's knowing about what can and cannot be protected, being street savvy and having an attorney who can advise you on how to most cost effectively do this will allow you to take advantage of these rules so that your intangible assets within your own business can be protected, possibly protected correctly, but also, again, we're seeing data that as we move into this kind of knowledge economy and into an area where IP rights are just so much more important, it's going to become the most important asset on your balance sheet.